I'm Davy Newell. I'm a special events manager. I live in the Lake District. I'm quite an outgoing person. I enjoy testing myself and I'm quite sporty. I do such extreme activities and take part in quite a few extreme sports because I like to remain fit. I love the outdoors. I like to push myself and I like to see how much I can take. Now my number one inspiration would have to be Sir Ranulph Fiennes. I've met Sir Ran a few times. I just love the way that he just gets on with things. Now Sir Ran, I find, isn't a great athlete, he's a great sufferer. I think I respect that. I've been to a few desert environments now over this past few years. I've always been attracted to deserts. I grew up in Ireland, fairly green, lush country, and I think the stark contrast with the barrenness of deserts, the hot, the heat, the sand, the various types of wildlife you find there, I've always been attracted to that. I think what I'm going to miss most when I'm on this trip is autumn. I'm away in October. I love autumn. It's my favourite time of the year and I'm going to miss the autumn. I'm also going to miss my two black Labradors. I heard about this expedition on the charity events Grapevine. It was kind of put out very quietly and it was interesting. My boss forwarded me an email about the event. The expedition is called Skeleton Coast Expedition. Simple as that, because we're going to traverse a completely unexplored, well, virtually unexplored section of the Skeleton Coast. Well, it's a section of coastline in Namibia on the Skeleton Coast. It's quite famous among certain circles for being called the Skeleton Coast because there are shipwrecks strewn the length and breadth of the coast. There's no access to the area whatsoever, and generally if you were shipwrecked there you were stuck. And what we've found is there's no fresh water for a 300-mile section of coastline. And there's only one person has traversed this coastline to date, but he was supported in doing so. We're going to go in and try and traverse this section of coast completely unsupported. The expedition is being filmed for National Geographic. There's a guy coming on the expedition, Andrew Miles. He has filmed now, I think, he's had approximately 90 different expedition films shown on National Geographic, and the plan is to film this and then for it to be aired on, I think, National Geographic Adventure. There were, last I heard, there was 400 people had applied to go on the expedition, and the selection process was based around fitness, screen tests, all sorts of things. They asked many questions, different adventures you've been on. So yeah, there was quite a lengthy selection process that I was quite fortunate to make through. I am a mountaineer, so I'm used to carrying a rucksack, and as everything that we start off with on this expedition we have to carry all the way through, that came in quite handy. So what I've been doing is purely training in the hills and mountains of the Lake District, carrying an extremely heavy rucksack. I've been on a few expeditions in the past, mainly climbing expeditions. I was quite fortunate, a group of friends, we climbed Kilimanjaro about 15 years ago. We opened up an old route that hadn't been climbed for a very long time. We've also gone and climbed a few expeditions in Russia. So yeah, I've been drawn to expeditions. I quite like getting away for long periods of time. There will be various different types of equipment that we'll be using on this expedition. Most importantly, and I think the most essential piece of equipment, are the 6 Catadan desalination water purifiers. Now, Catadan are a Swiss company that make outdoor water purification systems, and they have made 6 hand pump filters that take the salt out of the seawater for us, because for the entire length and duration of the expedition there will be no fresh water to be found anywhere. There are 3 rivers that enter the ocean, but they're underneath sand dunes, and the sand dunes can be over 300 meters high, so we're not holding out much hope of finding those. I'm only taking one real luxury item with me, and it's a motivational tool that I've used on expeditions that I've organised in the past. It's a book of poetry of all things by Robert W. Service. Wilderness poetry set around the time of the Yukon Gold Rush, and it's very, very inspirational, very motivational. And for those times whenever the feet are sore, my back's sore, and everybody's just feeling a wee bit run down, one of Robert Service's poems, they can generally lift everyone back up again. I'm having a dilemma at the moment about how many pairs of socks I'm going to take on the expedition. I think I'm going to take 4, purely because of the weight restrictions. The pack weight at the minute is hovering around the 40 kilos mark. That's extremely heavy, and basically having labels and clothing is almost a luxury at the minute. We'll be trimming everything down. I was going to take 6 just so I could rotate them quite often and the socks never got degraded too much, but I think I'm going to take 4 pairs of socks. Possibly the biggest challenge on this expedition is going to be the constant pressure of the heavy rucksacks on your back and the constant pressure of needing water. Water is the key to the expedition. If we, for any reason, we have problems with the filters, we're goosed, really. And we just need to be able to carry the weight of the bags and purify water. If we run out of water, the event's going to grind to a halt. Well, I've been trying to put on a little extra weight lately because the training I've been doing has been taking it off. I believe I'll probably lose in the region of about 1 stone on this expedition because there's only so much food we can carry, so many calories per day we can carry. Yeah, I think I'll lose possibly around 1 stone. The clothing I'll be wearing on the expedition is all going to be made specially for me. I'm quite lucky. I've got a sponsor for the trip. All the clothing is going to be made from bamboo because bamboo fabrics tend to be antimicrobial. Because we're in the wilderness for pretty much 21 days, we're not going to be able to use much in the way of fresh water for cleaning ourselves, certainly not using much water for cleaning clothing. So I think antimicrobial clothing will be a little more comfortable and smell not too bad after being used day after day. That's the most important thing, and that's all the clothing I'm wearing is high UV and bamboo. On the expedition we will be carrying 3 satellite phones, and one of those will be used for phoning in a blog every evening, and the other 2 will be kept in reserve as emergency phones. If anything happens, anyone gets injured, the filters all break and we can't get any water, then we have numbers to call and we can be rescued from the Skeleton Coast via A, chopper, or B, light aircraft. There were 14 people made it through the selection process to go on this expedition, and they have all been training very, very hard. We've met up a few times and had a few training sessions together, and the team has bonded very, very well. So hopefully we'll all be able to look after each other, motivate each other, and see it through to the end of the expedition. If anyone starts to struggle on the expedition, the first port of call will be to distribute the weight in their backpacks among the rest of the group to take the pressure off them, give them a few days respite, and hope that they come back up to strength again.